finishing up our journey into the whiskey sour, starting in New York City in a famed speakeasy, and then moving on down south with a version that takes its ingredients from the Big Easy. So stay tuned, right here.
At the bar with Stave and Slide.
All right, so we are finishing up our journey into the whiskey sours in honor of National Whiskey Sour Day on August 25th.
That's right.
Okay, so we started out with a couple of versions that you made. Go ahead and remind everybody what you started out with.
I did. So actually, the book is right back there. I started off with the truly traditional whiskey sour as prescribed by Jerry Thomas in the Bartender's Guide. The 1862 version may or may not have contained it, but for sure it's in the 1887 reissue.
I think it's in the original.
It is in the original. I know there was some debate about that when I was doing some research, and obviously we don't have the original version. So, and then I did the modern traditional whiskey sour with lemon and orange juice, just kind of what you would get at any decent craft cocktail bar today.
Just very refreshing version, yeah.
Yep.
And then in our next episode in the series, I made the egg white sours, the Boston and the New York. The Boston had, of course, it was pretty much like the traditional, not with the orange juice, the traditional sour just with the egg white. And then the New York was the same, but then it had the red wine float on that.
Yep. The Boston's one of my favorites. I really enjoy the egg white and the texture and the creaminess and the smoothness, the mouthfeel that it gives.
Yep. Both of those are fantastic. And the New York sour with that addition of that red wine was really nice.
Yep.
Yeah, and the creaminess that you get and with the egg white is really, really a delicious addition to both of those sours. And all of those, those are very different from the first two that you made, and very different from the two that we're going to make today. So let's start out with the cocktail that I'm going to make, another sour, and this one comes from Milk and Honey. Okay, so speakeasy, New York City, part of the big cocktail, Renaissance revolution that came out of the early 2000s.
Yep. One of our favorite periods, I'd say.
Yes. So this is the Goldrush. Okay, and so this is pretty much like a traditional whiskey sour, except what we're going to do is we're going to swap the simple syrup or the gum syrup with honey syrup.
Honey syrup.
Yes.
So what's not just regular honey?
No, you can't use regular honey because honey's too thick. So if you just throw honey into the cocktail, it's not going to mix up very well.
Okay.
So you want to make a honey syrup. The traditional way to make a honey syrup is equal parts water honey. So just like a simple syrup. Now, a lot of cocktails, if you do a 2-to-1 honey to the water, you're going to get a lot more of that honey flavor.
Sure.
Now, Milk and Honey's version of the Goldrush actually uses a 3-to-1. So that's kind of the secret in that original Goldrush that was created.
Just sounds like they're just enough to get it to incorporate.
Just enough water to loosen it up so that you can mix it into the cocktail.
Okay.
So we're going to do the honey syrup. We're going to do lemon juice, and then we're going to do bourbon. We are going to use Larceny, and I just happen to be wearing a Larceny shirt, so we're going to use Larceny bourbon. We're not sponsored by Larceny. Oh, if you're listening, we wouldn't mind being sponsored, but
open to offers.
Yep. And then we're just going to prepare this like we would any traditional whiskey sour.
Same measurements we used in the
exactly the same. Yep. And the cool thing about this drink, it was created not even by a bartender at Milk and Honey. It was created by a patron. Yeah. So TJ Siegal, he was a longtime friend of Sasha Petrosky, like a childhood friend, the creator of Milk and Honey. And he was sitting behind the bar one day. He went there, he was a regular, and he ordered whiskey sours. That was like one of his favorite cocktails. And Sasha was talking to him about this honey syrup that he had made, this rich 3-to-1 honey syrup that he had made for a different cocktail. And TJ said, hey, let's try that in my whiskey sour. Sounds good. And that is how this cocktail was born. And he named it the Goldrush, and a classic cocktail was created in the early 2000s.
Just by happenstance.
Just like that.
It just happened. That's
and it took off. So let's get started.
Let's do it. I'm going to say you want to grab it now.
All right. So, just like we said with our other whiskey sours, 3/4 ounce of lemon juice, 3/4 ounce of our rich honey syrup, and then 2 ounces of our bourbon. Right, give this a good shake. And then we're going to go ahead and double strain this over a large ice cube.
Garnish.
Okay. And garnish this with a lemon peel.
Yeah, the honey gives it a darker.
It does, right?
Hue
Than the syrup.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
And that's our Goldrush. We can give this a try.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna sample this with a straw because Dan is going to enjoy this cocktail after we switch it around and I make the next one.
Definitely.
It's amazing what just that little change
Of the honey.
of the honey does.
Yep. Had to hold it like that
Yep.
depth of flavor and that richness with the honey.
Right. And I wonder if you used different types of honey, how dramatic the change would be. Because there's wildflower
Clover honey,
clover
yeah,
honey,
yeah,
and blah,
of
blah,
course.
blah, all these different.
It's gonna change it completely.
Yeah.
And using local honey, of course, like and so we talked a lot about cocktails, right? We used to drink cocktails to cure our ailments, and you get up and have one in the morning. Well,
Yeah,
local honey is good for good for helping out with allergies or whatnot. So put some local honey in your Goldrush, and I think that's a good prescription.
Yeah, absolutely. It cures what ails you.
Absolutely.
All right, well, that's the first one. We're going to break away for a minute and get reset. I'm going to go behind the bar and get ready to make the next one while Dan enjoys the cocktail he's just crafted here. Again, that's called the Goldrush.
Goldrush.
We'll be right back.
Good.
How's that Goldrush?
It's delicious.
All right, great. Well, welcome back. We're on to part 2. We told you it's going to be different. The Goldrush is altogether different than any of the other 4 that we've already done. And I would venture to say that the one we're going to make now is altogether different than all the rest of them that we've already done. So we're going to make the New Orleans sour.
Okay.
More specifically, we're going to make a New Orleans style sour.
Okay.
I think we talked about before that sours are a category of a cocktail.
Right.
So they come in, various formats. And
Sour could be it could be a margarita. It could be a daiquiri.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a New Orleans style whiskey sour.
Okay.
And what makes it a New Orleans style whiskey sour is instead of a simple syrup for a sweetener, or in the case of the Goldrush, the honey syrup or the gum syrup or any of the other traditional sweeteners that we use, we're going to replace that with a fruit liqueur.
Okay.
We're going to get the sweetness from a fruit liqueur.
All right.
Now there's, an endless array of fruit liqueurs out there. Some are sweeter than others, some are more dry. And in the case, it really depends on the note that you're looking for.
Sure.
And if the fruit note that you're looking for comes in a liqueur that's a little more dry, you may still need to add a little bit of sweetener just
Like
to
a
get
dry curacao.
exactly, just to get the right balance in there. But generally, a New Orleans style sour, as I understand it, replaces the traditional sweeteners with a fruit liqueur.
Okay. Now this is one we haven't done before.
I was just getting to that. We have not made this before.
Okay, yeah.
This is new to us. So we thought we'd bring it to you candidly. If you've never heard of it either, then we're all in this together. But we're gonna make it for the first time and we're gonna try it. And if it's not good, we'll tell you it's not good. And we'll try and adjust it right here on camera with you all watching and see if we can get that balanced the right way.
I'm excited.
So for our concoction today, we are going to use Grand Marnier.
Ooh, okay.
So we still get the orange note that we would get in the traditional sour from the orange juice that we made before.
And I like the French connection with New Orleans.
Bingo.
Got it.
Try and keeping it local. And in the spirit of keeping it local, we're also going to throw in a few dashes.
There you go.
Peychaud's bitters. And of course, we're going to use lemon juice, fresh lemon juice.
Okay.
Same measurements, 3/4 ounce for everything. For the bourbon,
Okay.
for the base spirit, I was thinking of bourbon.
Yeah. I mean, bourbon makes sense for New Orleans.
Correct. Specifically, I didn't want to get too proofy because we're adding some other
Grand Marnier,
Grand Marnier. So I was thinking Old Forester 86.
That's a good choice.
What do you think, though?
I like that.
It's bourbon, bourbon. It's
So here's what we've done. And I'm thinking back in every series like that we've done. I think we've done a bourbon and a rye, haven't we?
yeah.
Because you did rye in the initial Jerry Thomas,
Right.
and I did rye in the New York Sour. We just did bourbon, and we're talking New Orleans. What if we did Sazerac? What if we did Sazerac Rye in this one?
I saw where you were going with it.
Yeah, I like it.
So Sazerac Rye.
We're experimenting here.
like it.
Let's give it a shot.
Let's do it. It's a good call.
We haven't done it before. I mean, and like I said, if it's not good, we'll tell you it's not good. We'll fix it.
Right. Okay, so Sazerac Rye,
Okay.
Grand Marnier, 3/4 ounce lemon juice, a couple dashes Peychaud's bitters.
Let's see how this turns out.
All right, let's do it. All right, we'll start off with ice in a shaker. All right, ice. You're gonna go in 3/4 ounce lemon juice. A little jigger here. Boop. 3/4 ounce Grand Marnier. I always try and recap everything because I'm always afraid I'm going to knock it. Knock it down.
There that goes.
Okay. Do add our 2 ounces of Sazerac Rye. Good thinking there.
Every now and then.
Come up with a good one.
Yep. Unless the drink isn't good, then
That's all my fault.
Yeah, I won't take any credit for it.
And just 2 dashes, healthy dashes of Peychaud's bitters. Just keeping it in town.
Keeping it local. Said our ingredients coming from the Big Easy, so
That's right. Give it a good shake. All right. This is the hard part. Sometimes. Got it. I'm gonna pull out my handy dandy favorite piece of stemware here. And I'm gonna double strain this too. These shaker strainers are never really good. You always get some ice in there.
I know, it's always good to get the lemon strained out. That looks nice. I like the color of that.
I was just thinking, nice color.
Bitters, yeah.
Just a little bit darker than the Goldrush there. Cloudier, I'd say. And let's garnish with the orange peel here. Floated like a boat.
There you go.
And that is a New Orleans style sour.
All right. Moment of truth.
Yeah. Sir?
Okay.
That's pretty good.
I like that.
It's tart.
It is. It's tart. It's drier.
Yeah.
But I like it.
It is probably the most sour of the sours that we've done. Obviously, rightfully so. There's not much. There's not much anything in there to sweeten it. Would you add any sweetener to that? You think?
I liked it. I like it as
the way it is.
I really do.
Yeah.
I could see putting a touch of a little bit of maybe simple or something, but I think it's really good. I think it's balanced. I think it's flavorful.
Yeah, I think the orange really pops.
Yeah, it does
in there.
And it's really refreshing. I mean, that tartness. It's. I enjoy it.
Yeah, me too. I agree. It's, and I don't know how widespread these are. Mm-hmm. Like I said, they're new to us. Not that we're experts by any means, right. But we've been around a few places and had a few drinks, and this is the first I've heard of it.
I've never seen it. I've never made it. This is our first time into this category, New Orleans style sour.
Yeah.
There is another cocktail called a New Orleans sour that's different, right?
Correct. There is the New Orleans sour cocktail. Yeah. It's got some fruit puree in it or something. I don't remember off the top of my head. That's a different altogether. This is a New Orleans style whiskey sour.
Yeah.
So like a sub category of the sours. Yeah. All right. So that's going to close out our whiskey sour series. Yep. This has been fun. I enjoyed it. I think I would like to do another series on another style of bourbon-based cocktail.
Yeah, I enjoyed this. 6 very different kind of versions of the same idea, right? The same formula. Yeah. Right, because that's what a lot of these cocktails are. They're formulas. So the sour, like we said, daiquiris, margaritas, sidecar, the Goldrush is a if you put gin instead of the bourbon, you got a bee's knees. Yeah. So a lot of these cocktails are so interchangeable. So messing with them and tinkering with them and showing different versions of what they can be with you just change a couple of ingredients. You add the egg white, you change the rye out, you put the honey syrup instead of the simple, and how different they can be with the slight modifications.
The subtle changes. Yeah. Big subtle differences, big changes.
Right. That's what makes
big differences.
That's part of what makes cocktails so fascinating. Yeah. Is how interchangeable they are.
Absolutely.
How much you can riff on them. So these series, I think it's a great idea. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and even to your point about the subtle changes, I'm gonna make a New Orleans sour with a bourbon next time and just see
how different it is.
Yeah, because the rye I think is going to bring a little bit of a spicier note to it, obviously, and the bourbon might soften it up a little.
Definitely, and again, we talked about the rye and made that suggestion, but the bourbon could add a little bit of that sweetness that we were missing by not adding the simple syrup. So it could end up being a more balanced cocktail by doing the bourbon and going back to that. So part of the experimentation, and that's why we do this, why we bring it to you, and give you some of these ideas, and you can try what we do, come up with your own ideas, and see what you like. If you like what we do, if you like, you might come up with something that you enjoy more. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And please share with us in the comments down below your own versions of any of the cocktails that we've made that you enjoy. Maybe we'll make it maybe we'll make it one day and put it up on the channel.
Love to.
One last note, it's September. We're into September now. It's taken us a little while to get all the Whiskey Sour Series videos put together and put out. But we're into September. Every September is
Urban Heritage Month.
Urban Heritage Month. So,
which is one of my favorite months.
It is. It's going to be good. I know there's a lot of festivities down in Kentucky going on. It is now the 9th of September. There's a bourbon festival I believe in Louisville this weekend.
Yep.
There's another one next weekend. You and I are going down to...
We'll be there next month.
The 5th of October, for Bourbon on the Banks. That was a great event last year.
Hope to bring you some content from that.
Absolutely. So get out, enjoy some bourbon, visit a distillery, visit your local bourbon bar, cocktail bar, whatever it is you like to do. Check out our Instagram, there'll be some bottle highlights through the month. We may get a short video in where we sample a bottle or two of something. We're kind of still trying to figure out the best way, the best format that we want to use for talking specifically about individual bottles of bourbon. You know, there's a lot of channels out there doing that, and we want to kind of give it our own spin, not be the same as everybody else. We'll get there, absolutely. Yep. I think, again, great series. Always good to be down here at the bar with you.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time.
Until next time.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm staying to slide.